Hello, everybody. I wanted to start off this video by talking about some of the comments you guys have in terms of what are the content that you want to see come January 2025. We're going to come back at you with some recorded content. And so I have some requests, and I'm just going to say them in case you are watching it after the fact, and then you don't have to re-ask for the same content. So we are looking at um, things that you want to see. Would like to see some areas around the airport like Leduc. I'm guessing you're looking for market updates on that. Now, I typically, when you watch this channel, you see me focus west and southwest, and that's on purpose. If you are looking for areas that are not within those categories, you can send me an email and I will connect you with an agent that will definitely give you the information that you're looking for in that. So I've had some people ask about best place to invest rental properties in Edmonton for long-term real estate investment, 8 years and over. And I will do a video and I'll talk about the best places to invest in Edmonton for rental. And we'll take a look at what the rental market is. And that'll be as of whenever I film it, because the rental market does change. And our rental market, just as a side note, is a lot stronger than it has been in the last 5 years. We have one of the stronger, it's definitely stronger, and you actually have a return on it. So we have seen investors from Ontario and BC already liquidate what they have there and come over here. And so if that's something you want to look at, I'll have a video for that. And we do have a team of agents that will assist you that focus on helping out-of-town investors purchase here in Edmonton. And someone else asked for best time to put a house on the market in the spring. So in the spring, maybe you're asking me about specifically what month of the market. I suspect for this coming year, spring in Edmonton is, I'd say, March until May. Okay. Real estate spring, end of February to early June is real estate spring. Best time to put your house on the market. Stay tuned for that video and I'll talk about that. Of course, spring is more ideal than the fall, summer, winter. However, this market this year has been very, very steady and we have very, very low inventory, which we're going to jump into when I show you the active listings. And just a side note, last year at this time, we were at 200 some single family houses more than we were at this time last year. Someone also asked, what do you think of staging to sell a home? Is it better that the house is furnished versus vacant to attract buyers? So if you want to take a look, I actually have some videos already about staging, but I will do another one addressing the questions of what if damage takes place and blah, blah, blah. Third video request was, if a property is appraised and the market value is different from the realtor's assessed value, what would you do if your house was selling? So I will make a video that talks about appraised value versus actual value. So that'll be a good video and I'll talk about that. And then what would you recommend sellers when your house is assessed to say 100K, but your realtor is telling you should be listed 70K? So if you're watching right now and you have other video ideas that you want to put them in the comment. Someone else asked for what is the best month to buy in Edmonton. All right. So you have to understand too, every year is different. And so it's hard to answer the question of what exact month is best to buy in the Edmonton market, because every year you have different times. And if you let me know, I usually keep an eye out on the market for my clients to let them know, hey, I know you're thinking about selling this spring and we need to get that house actually on sooner than later, just because of how the market is. Now, so let's talk about what the market is like right now. We take a look at the active single family home listings. We are now down under 1,700. We are at 1,655. We were at over 1,900 last year, and that last year we weren't even in a solid, good space. Like, it was still a very seller's market, and you can imagine us going into winter. I predicted this. It's going to keep going down, and then maybe, just maybe, in February, March, it will start to come up. Now, the only way that the inventory level is going to come up is if the buyer demand starts to decrease and the seller demand starts to increase. So there actually is a differential. If the new stuff that comes up gets eaten up by the buyers right away that month, it's either going to stay plateaued or it's going to keep going down. So you can imagine this is going to cause some pure chaos in the spring in the next few months. Spring's not that far away. I've talked to some sellers who were going to be listing their house in March, and it's not going to last. If you are looking at selling a home that is over $1 million or over $900,000, we got to take a different strategy when it comes to market sales there too. Those ones aren't moving as quickly, but they are still moving. So we need to take a look exactly at your neighborhood, at the other homes that are priced in that price range in Edmonton, and to kind of assess what the biggest plan of action is. If you're selling a home between 350 to 550, and it's a big range, those ones will move so quickly that even if you were to list it today at the right market value, it will go quickly. Now, what's happening? Everyone's talking about this for tomorrow. The interest rates are supposed to drop. And not only are they supposed to drop, they're supposed to drop significantly more than they thought based on the economy. Now, the rates did drop already earlier. Now they're dropping right. Like, let's be honest. The rates were high. People finally figured out, guess what? They're not going to go anywhere. I guess I need to buy. And they were holding back. Now they're part of the pool. You've got the people that keep coming from BC and Ontario in the pool. And now you've got everyone else who is waiting for the rates to drop, jumping in. Those ones that were like, I don't want to go until the rates start to drop. Well, guess what? They're going to jump into the pool as well, all into this crazy month of December that's usually very, very quiet. And it was so busy in the last few weeks as everyone's rushing to get everything done. It's not very quiet in the December real estate market in Edmonton. And I suspect that we're going to have one of the busiest spring markets that we have seen in a long time. And what does that mean? It means that we're probably going to even be busy January, February leading up to the spring market, because what's happening is people are realizing it's going to be so crazy in spring that they better buy now. Okay, so then we're causing this little mini influx of activity because everyone's trying to be proactive. And what I'm telling you now is buying now versus then, is it a guarantee you'll save money? No guarantees, right? But in theory, you're technically competing against less people. And what's even crazier is we are seeing multiple offers in December. So you have to be prepared. You need to be prepared. You've got to have your pre-approval done. You've got to have a solid real estate team. Your realtor needs to know what they're doing. You need to make sure everything is in line to make sure we get. I've won multiple offers and they were not unconditional. These were conditional deals with inspection and financing. You can still win them, but you've got to be really lined up to make sure that you are ready to win. That's honestly my biggest piece of advice for buyers buying in 2025, whether you're selling and buying or just investing. Be prepared for multiples. So as an investor, this may not be the best market for you because you're dealing with multiple offers, but I know a lot of my out-of-town province buyers are not scared about multiple offers because they know the price continues to go up. The prices went a lot higher this year than I anticipated. I anticipated 8%. If you've been watching our videos the last few weeks, we've been showing you how much higher things have gone, and it was an average of 10. So if you're watching this and you go back and look at those other two videos, you'll see some examples that I show you of houses selling at this time this year versus last year, and how much more it's gone. So for buyers who've been kind of waiting on the sidelines, just checking things out, waiting for rates to drop, well, the rates did drop, so you waited, yay for you, but those houses are way more than that rate drop. So you need to be prepared mentally for that new amount. Now, how many deals went pending this last 7 days in Edmonton for single family homes? We had more pending, which does not surprise me. I told you it was really busy this month. 152 sales is a pretty strong 7-day period in Edmonton in December. This number is very consistent with like the rest of the solid year. I think it was 200-ish, 200 to 300 is what we saw in the like peak of the month, or sorry, peak of the year. 150 is still very, very strong. Anything at this stage is like quite strong when it comes to single family home sales in December. And you can see that the surrounding areas are all pretty consistent from week over week. They don't change a whole lot. Now, if we take a look at how many properties sold in the last 7 days, 172 were pending and 161 sold, which means either the other differential of 11 homes, either non-waived, or there is another week of conditions, because sometimes it's 2 weeks of conditions, so it's not within the week. So that's kind of why the numbers don't always match up. And so we saw 161 sales go firm this last week, with whether it's removing conditions or unconditional sales, compared to 181 the week before. And again, everything's pretty nothing substantial. But let's take a look at last year. So last year for sold, I told you for active listings, we were sitting at 1,900, and this one now we're sitting in a 1,600 range. Last year at this time, we had 157 sales versus 161. So very similar, really. It's like 4 houses different. And the market last year, if you remember, was still not like dead. It was quieter, but definitely not dead. And the biggest thing is when the inventory, the houses for sale becomes so little, there's not a whole lot to look at. So some of our clients end up waiting for homes to show up in those specific areas that they want to live in, and they got to run and jump and go. You don't have the privilege of coming here and taking a look at 5, 6 houses at a time. That being said, one of our out of town buyers from Lloyd, we were able to come down and look at 7 houses and still find one of the 7. But we also knew when we were looking at houses why these homes were still on the market. Okay, so that's another reason why there is houses on the market, but they're not all homes that necessarily are priced right, or their condition of the home isn't the greatest. And so that's also why they're sitting. So though that there is 1,600 and some, how many of those have been on the market and been on the market a long time? How many of them might have issues? Those are all things to kind of consider when you are looking at houses here in the city. If you're coming here from out of Edmonton, you have to understand that we are about to enter in one of the coldest months of January, and that does affect the sales, but it's not going to affect the faint at heart because we all just go shopping still. Last Wednesday, it was raining, freezing rain, and we still showed houses and we still found one. So you have to be prepared for our extreme weather when you're looking here. And so as I prepare the videos for what we're going to do for next year, you'll start to see some videos drip out about the different things, like the best neighborhoods in Edmonton for investments, but also the best neighborhoods in Edmonton for families. And I want to do an update. We've done some past videos before, and now things have changed because those neighborhoods are different price ranges. So I need to give you an update as to, hey, there's still in my opinion, the best neighborhoods for family to live in, but you have to understand the price point now is different than what it was when I filmed it, because some of these are 2-3 years old, and the market in this last 2024 has changed significantly. And so those prices are no longer accurate. So you might be watching an old video going, hey, well, I thought I could get a house for this amount of money. That's what your video said. But you got to look at the date of that video. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the different developments for families. For example, that rec center in the Rosenthal area, which is really close to me, that is well underway, and it's winter and they're still working on it. That is a development, and that's probably still a few years out. But of course, living close by is nice, just like it is when you live close to a school. Schools now are in high demand. That's not changed over the years. And what you want to do is check the different school boards to see how you can get into them, if you have to live in the catchment areas, or if you can actually live in a different area and be bussed in. That depends on if you're doing like specialized schools, if there's French immersion or the sports school or whatever things that you're wanting your kids to get into. Make sure you take a look at that. Now, some of you guys are wondering, who live locally here, hey, how am I going to balance selling and buying my house? Because what the fear has been the last few years since it's been a seller's market is, what if I sell my house and I have nowhere to live? Or I don't want to sell my house because there's nothing to buy. So we've helped many clients do that. And we'll talk in a video about the order, the sequencing of selling and buying in the same market, and why that's a better idea than selling your home and renting and then buying. That's not necessarily the best idea because you're actually exiting the market. So we'll talk more about that in those videos. But as you watch and kind of digest things, let me know. Now, if you're live on right now, because I can see a few of you guys live, let me know if you have any questions, because I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have in regards to the neighborhoods in Edmonton. Make sure you check out the crime map. The Edmonton Police City crime map is very helpful when you're deciding where to live. And if you're looking for school information, Edmonton Public Services, Edmonton Public Schools, EPSB.ca, and Catholic Services. I can't talk today. Catholic School Board also has the list as well too. And if you are wondering, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our beautiful map of Edmonton. And I want to show you the roads and how they are at this time of day. Now, it's right now the kids are still in school, so you're not going to see anything too crazy, but I want to show you what happens for your commute when traffic goes, because that's something that people are usually wondering about. So if we take a look at the map of Edmonton, you see right now it's all green, and then you see yellow and red because Google is great in terms of like letting you know live traffic. This is the Anthony Henday, the 216. And right here, it's already backed up, which is super annoying. Let's see if I can zoom in. This drive from Windermere to Rosenthal. Yesterday I went there. It was all of 20 minutes. But then when I was coming home, it took me 20 minutes just to get on to the Henday from this backlog, because Terwilliger Drive is awful, and then driving here. But this stretch of the road should only take you 20 minutes, but with this weather, sometimes it can take you 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. When we got really crazy weather the one time, it was like an hour and a half. So it just all depends on our weather here. Do be mindful of your vehicle when you come here. Make sure if you don't have snow tires, you have them. My husband swears by all seasons, so that's what we have. I like how someone gave me a thumbs down. I'm assuming you're giving the weather and the traffic a thumbs down and not me, because that's not very nice if you did that. So anyways, this is just a warning. This is the Anthony Henday that can get quite crazy. This is the Yellowhead, the 16 that goes kind of straight through the city. You can see it's already, now these things are yellow and red. These always are like this because there's been this like perpetual construction on this road, hasn't finished forever. So that's also why it's always slower. And that's kind of why you see these yellow marks all around the city when it's 2:50 p.m. and kids are still in school. And this will just get busier as the day and hour progresses. So if you're looking from BC or Ontario, check this map in about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, and you'll see it's going to get a lot redder. It is snowing, like this big puffy snowflakes, which is actually really nice kind of snowflakes, gets you into the Christmas mood. And the fact that we're all green here, that's good. Now, interestingly enough, the mall. Here's the mall. You see this? Oh, I like how they have Chick-fil-A here all standing out. That red, there is construction all down this road. This is all to do with the new LRT system. So it's really backed up and it's just busy. And it says here, it ends January 15th. Interesting. But it does not have you ending anything. The LRT construction is going all down here and it's quite busy. The mall at this time of year is a gong show because it's Christmas and everyone's trying to get Christmas stuff done. So yeah, if you're looking for a place to live, I always feature West Southwest on purpose. That's where I focus with. If you're looking for areas that are outside of those quadrants, you'll probably never see that information on this channel, but I'm happy to connect you with somebody that can give you that information. Sometimes I talk about these areas too. The university area is also very interesting. These homes here have massive lots, but they're really hard to get into. So if you're looking to move into an area like Windsor, well, for one, you have to have a bigger budget, but also patience, because there's not a lot of houses in Grandview Heights. There's not a lot of houses that come for sale in those areas, even Patricia Heights, Laurier Heights, Rio Terrace. You have to have a search saved, and we can get notified immediately to find out what's in there. It's definitely a wait and see type of area because not a whole lot goes for sale even when it's not a seller's market. So yeah, anyways, I don't see any questions other than that person who gave me a negative, like a thumbs down sign. So I don't know what to take of that, but for now, I'm just going to take it as you interacted with me. So thanks for interacting. And hopefully you were talking about the negative weather. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you next week is the last week before Christmas with my update. So we'll talk to you guys next week. And then in January, you'll see more updates with recorded videos and these live updates. See you guys.